Hey guys, welcome to today's edition of Loddy's NHL Locks. Rough couple of days. If you're following me on Instagram at sports.betting.system, well, if you're not following me, follow me. But if you are, you'll see in my post recapping yesterday's picks. I talk about coming up with the theory of contingencies, a set of criteria that you use when selecting your bets, and how it's important to stick to that criteria. Don't allow the results to dictate what you do. Obviously, you're going to learn something from getting picks wrong, so you may want to adjust your theory of contingencies a little bit. But if you have a particular set of criteria that you use when selecting a bet, then you have to use it every single time a game fits into that criteria. Because the second that you don't is when you're going to start winning. It's Murphy's Law. A pick you made fits into your criteria. You take it, they lose. The next day, you see another game that fits into that same criteria. You say, oh, well, what do I know? I got it wrong last night. And you don't make that pick that you normally would have, that you would have the day before, then that one goes through. I'm 79 and 52 in my NHL picks this season. I'm not going to completely stray away from the theory of contingencies that I've built over years just because I've had a couple bad days. So let's get to today's locks. This is the juicy one. Washington Capitals money line over the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Leafs are on a 2-game losing streak. They haven't lost 3 straight all season. You guys know I don't like to bet on things that have never happened. So why am I now? Well, the Leafs just finished the longest road trip of their season. When are you most likely to go on a losing streak? When you're on a long road trip. Their second longest road trip, which was 5 games, this one was 6. They also lost 2 straight on that one. The next game after those 2 losses was in New Jersey against one of the worst teams in the NHL, and of course the Leafs won. In this case, they're coming home for the 3rd game, where they're actually a little worse record-wise than they are on the road. They're up against a Caps team who are just as good record-wise on the road as they are at home. The playoffs can't come sooner for the Washington Capitals. They have lost to the worst teams in the NHL, likely because it's hard to get excited to play a regular season game against a bad team just months removed from playing for a Stanley Cup. But they've also beat the best teams in the NHL because obviously it's easier for them to get excited for those games. The only top 4 team in either conference that the Capitals haven't beat are the Toronto Maple Leafs, who they've lost to twice this season, including as recently as January 23rd. They circled this day on their calendar on January the 24th. They're going to come to play. Let's bet on the defending champs avoiding a season series sweep against the Toronto Maple Leafs for lock number 1. Okay, I have 4 more picks today. I'm going to go through them rapid fire style. First pick, Carolina Hurricanes over the Panthers. Panthers are on a nice 3-game win streak, albeit all on their home ice. They did beat the Canadiens. They did beat the Calgary Flames. Impressive wins, nonetheless. And yet they're still 9 points out of a playoff spot, while the team they're playing, coming off a loss, is just 1 point out of the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. The Panthers have 1 win streak longer than 2 games all season. They're not going to make it 2 tonight anyway. Let's take the Canes over the Panthers for lock number 2. Lock number 3, Tampa over Buffalo. Not going to waste 10 minutes of your time explaining why you should take a 35-cent favorite like some other people on YouTube who post their picks. Not mentioning any names, but I'll give you a hint. He looks a lot like the Pillsbury Doughboy. One thing I will say about this matchup is the Sabres have already beat the Lightning this season. If they win this game, the season series ends at 2-2. I'm betting that won't happen. Add it to a parlay, up the value, and take the Lightning money line for lock number 3. Lock number 4, Edmonton Oilers over the Islanders. Connor McDavid is back for Edmonton. They're talking about making a push for the playoffs, which is what you want to hear from the team you're about to bet on. They're only 7 points out of the final playoff spot, so it is attainable. The 2 teams just played in New York 5 days ago and the Islanders won. I like taking the other team in these situations. So much parity in the NHL. It's hard for any team to beat any team twice in a row in such a short period of time. Let's take the Oilers for lock number 4. Final lock of the day, Vancouver over Arizona. I'll keep this one short. 2 evenly matched teams, each with 59 points on the season. Let's take the one playing at home. Markstrom is starting for the Canucks. That was announced about an hour ago. So no last-minute 19-year-old call-up from the AHL starting in goal for them. Lock number 5. Final lock of the day, Canucks over the Coyotes. Let's get back on track. Good luck to you if you're placing any bets tonight, and be sure to tune in again tomorrow.
Major key alert!